what's up everybody, and welcome back to Fiction Tea Reviews. Today we're going to talk about episode 4, The Origin of Dark. So we have this opening scene with this kid walking in the woods, and it's like midday or like early morning, and we hear a voice, and we see that it's the cleft lip guy. He says, "We are attracted to the dark like moths attracted to the light. Born out of darkness we return." Now, this scene reminds me of that same scene, I believe in season 1 or 2, I think it was season 2, where the minister guy was in the woods and he was creepishly standing and stalking one of the other characters in the woods. I forget which character it was, but I was like, they definitely used this scene to imitate that scene. Like, it has to go hand in hand. It puts the cleft lip guy in the same position as that missing priest guy, and it just all adds up and makes sense. It's like history repeating itself. So we end up learning the kid's name. His name is Trenton or Trente. The cleft lip guy tells the Trenton boy that I knew your mom and dad, and he gives them this bracelet with a snake on it. Now this bracelet has a snake on it. It's very significant in this episode, and my assumption was that the snake was kind of the Adam and Eve symbolism. If you think about the Bible or Adam and Eve, and there's the snake, and the snake kind of slithered in its way to whisper to Eve and kind of get her to eat the forbidden fruit. So it has something to do with that. And then I was just, that made me assume, like, okay, if he has that, and the cleft lip is saying, well, I know your parents, is his parents Martha and Jonas? That was my automatic thought. I'm not sure, haven't confirmed yet. There are other people saying that the cleft lip guy is potentially Jonas and Martha's son. I don't know yet. So we are back in the time of the last season, the previous season, where Hannah is in that real time zone where she's banging Egon, and Hannah just did not tell y'all she was the same person from every single dimension. It's like she's doing the same thing, repeated behavior. So then we get to September 24th, 1954. I believe it's Claudia. She says, well, you know, I've seen body parts, because they're talking about that, and she mentions the kid, who I assume is the unborn child, but probably not. He's probably somebody else. Next, Doris comes in to talk about the missing guy, the missing woman. So the missing woman that Doris is talking about is the lady that she had an affair with even though she's married. And it is also, she is saying that maybe she's with the minister who is missing as well, because they're missing at the same time. They disappeared at the same time. She shows Egon a handkerchief with the initials on it. Let's get to the scene where Adam, he's talking to, I believe, the missing woman that Doris was messing around with, and he's talking about how life is a gift, and that was the foreshadow of what was about to happen with this origin, with this unborn origin. So then it jumps to the scene where Magnus asks Martha, why did you leave in 1988 if you create the matter 33 years ago in the future? Then it jumps to November 6, 2052. Jonas, Martha, middle-aged Martha, are in a bunker, and written all over the walls are names, people's names in chalk, people's names crossed out, lines for connections from one person to the next, how everything's connected, and there's an infinity sign. Martha says it connects past, present, and future, and the names that are crossed out are the people who are dead or going to die. Now, again, Adam says that life is a gift, and then when Hannah goes to the doctor says she having this life, and it's a gift. See how that word is used, and how the importance of birth plays in this episode. Mentioned by Miss Doppler about the minister being the devil, and I do think that that is some sort of symbolism, because Jonas and Martha are Adam and Eve, and you have the minister who is said to be devil or Satan, and then you have the power plant, which is the source. That's what I'm putting together. I don't understand why Hannah just keeps dating these clowns. The guy that Dana was hating, she tells him that I'm pregnant. He says, "Are you sure it's mine?" I'm like, wow. Not only is he sexist by what he said to his wife Doris, his wife Doris at the time when she came into his office, but then he questions Hannah like, "Oh, is the baby mine?" And I'm just like, I mean, I know Hannah be like, she stays stealing people's men and getting in affairs, but really? Really? You gonna try to not claim the child? A mess. Cleft lip guy, he pulls out a pen. He tells the guy like, "Look, you need to go ahead and sign these papers and give me the rights to this permit so that I can basically be in charge of the power plant." And you know, once that happens, you know what's gonna happen next, because he's trying to make apocalypse happen. Barrels at the nuclear plant place is going to trigger the apocalypse, and middle-aged Martha tells Martha and Jonas, y'all can change it, y'all can stop this. Egon basically get called up by his wife Doris, and she's like, "I want a divorce." But it's also like, you were cheating too, so neither one of y'all really wanted each other. And then we find out Hannah meets Helen Albus, who is Katarina's mom, I believe, because she meets her at this place where she's supposed to be, I believe, getting some sort of abortion, but she meets the little girl and she gives her the necklace, and then everything changes. She decides she's gonna keep the child. Also, Egon, Adam, there's so many mentions about the heart wants what the heart wants, and I'm just like, yeah, the heart wants what the heart wants, because y'all just mess around with each other and just don't care. All each other's cousins, aunts, sisters, uncles, parents. Also, can we talk about the fact that Doris pulled out a yellow shirt and sniffed it? You know it's the lady shirt that she was messing around with, but also that symbolism with that yellow shirt. Come on. Come on. And I talked about the yellow pillow. Speaking of the yellow pillow, Jonas and Martha are getting it in once again. I mean, there's a lot of sex scenes in this season, and I'm surprised, honestly. I'm like, okay, they taking it there. But they're getting it in, and they roll over to the dark side, and I feel like that was basically confirming that that's the side that's going to be chosen as far as what to save, and the other side, the other world, is not getting saved, because you know he only has to choose one. He can't take both sides. So it's going to have a cause and effect, because that unborn child, though. I did also enjoy that desolate snow scene with the house. Perfect scene, great visuals for that part. Adam finally tells Martha that your older self sent you back for a purpose, and he hands her a book. He hands her the book with the infinity sign written on it. We learned that they were actually meant to start the origin and not stop the apocalypse. And we learned that the origin, spilling all the beans, all the tea, that she's pregnant. And the not equals the origin. And I'm just like, whole time I was watching this, I knew it. I knew there was gonna be some sort of pregnancy between those two. It was inevitable. It was bound to happen, and we just gonna see what happens on the next episode. A lot of drama going on. It's like a soap opera, but I enjoyed this episode. I can't wait to review the next episode. So if you guys like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Also, be sure to subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell to get notified for more videos. Also, be sure to get you a copy of my book, Rain. I wrote this book, I edited this book, and I made the cover for this book. It is a psychological thriller about a group of young adults in a psych ward who have been living there for pretty much their entire lives, and they all have mental disorders, and they don't think they're ever going to get out. And then they get this counselor who comes in. He's young, he's kind of inexperienced, but he can relate to them. He feels like there's something else going on besides them being crazy, and he's being haunted, and his trauma is haunting him in that place, and he thinks that it's cursed, or these people are doing experiments on these kids. There's something else happening, and I'm gonna find out. And it is a psychological thriller, sci-fi, horror, and if you want to stick around and hear the rest that I'm about to read, here we go. Alright, so last we checked, John Smith was actually at his office, and he found out that Leon Wright was here, and that of course he's Joseph's brother, and they're about to have a discussion about what really happened, or what's really going on. I fold up the papers neatly on my desk, arranging them in one single pile in its center. I take a Kleenex box from the floor to wipe the dust from the desk. I can hear my mother nagging my brother and I to clean our dirty rooms after we polish the dining room. I crouch on my knees, scrubbing away the invisible dirt from the glass table when my brother vacuums the floor. So he's fixing up the papers in his desk, but while he's doing that, while he's organizing his place, he has a flashback about his mom and his home life in the past. I don't know why she makes us do this. It's not even dirty, he moans. I mean, it's not like he cares anyway. I smile, humming melodies to myself. What's that? A voice interrupts. Huh? That song you're humming. Where'd you learn it? He asks. I didn't realize I was humming. I don't know, just I guess I picked it up somewhere. My mother used to sing it to Joe and I when we were kids, and now Joe sings it to Nick. So John Smith is cleaning and he's having a flashback. He starts singing this song. So I don't know if you remember, but like way back in like chapter 2, chapter 3, Joseph's brother was singing this song, and now John's singing this song, and there is a connection between the whole song situation. I turn to him. What's the deal with Nick? I mean, why does Joseph call him Jake? Our mother called Nick Jake the Dragon. He smiles. So, Joseph continued. He stuck to calling him Jake the Dragon, but now he just calls him Jake. Oh. I frown, releasing the Kleenex wipe. So, about Joseph. I take a seat next to him on the couch. You said you didn't abuse him, but he shows otherwise? Joe expresses a lot of things. He turns to me with his eyes, dark, cold, and empty. I nod, waiting for him to finish. Joseph hit our younger brother Jake and his girlfriend Mandy before. He put them in a hospital. He has a bit of a temper, but I'm sure you've noticed, or witnessed. He doesn't wait for my response. He was always the violent one. The volume in his voice intensifies. I couldn't handle it. Seeing him like that. He couldn't control it. Lord knows my mother tried to get him help. He looks away. She made my father pay for every doctor, medicine, facility, hospital, but no one could help him. I find myself wanting to reach out to him and to touch his knee as he talks. He was the one abusing everyone, but he created in his mind that it was everyone else. Me and my father. He blamed us for what happened to our mother. He sobs. I grab tissues from the cabinet underneath my desk, handing it to him. He wipes the tears away, blowing his nose, and says, I love my brother. I wanted to help him, but he chokes off his words. He can't be saved, which is the real reason why my father has left. I thought you said I didn't want to say it in front of Nick, but yeah, he's in the hospital. A few days ago, I visited Joe for the first time in years. I did not expect love or anything from him, but the way he treated me, the things he said to me, how he talks to me, it was like we were not even related. My father pulled him off me, then he snapped. He started threatening us, calling my father names. Finally, he attacked him. I just can't bear it anymore. Wow. I'm sorry, but I stare intently into his eyes, trying to search for a fault. Why'd you leave? Why would you just leave him here after your mother? I couldn't stay there after my mother was dead. In that house. Once I was young and in love, I needed something. Something new. So why come back then? He chuckles. Would you believe it haunts me? You know? Not seeing my brother? I just wanted to see him. He turns to me, clutching both of my hands. Look. He stares into my eyes. I know what he's probably shown you. I know what he has shown you. Lies, that I'm a horrible person, and my father, that we're evil. But Joseph is, well, very convincing. He'll make you feel sorry for him. Trust me. I want to believe that he is well, but he's not. It's just getting worse. You're wrong. I remove my hands from his. I talk to him all the time, and tell me, when you talk, can you understand what he's saying? Or even who he's talking to? Talking about? Or 1 minute it's my dad, then me, you, and his friends. He pulls out a cigarette pack, smacks it against his palm, then puts it behind his ear. Folding his hands, he crosses his legs to match. He feels guilty, and it's eating him alive so much that he doesn't know what's real anymore. He can't accept the truth, so he made a whole new truth. A new life full of lies. Where he's the good guy and we're all bad. No. I nod. Joseph is a good kid. I can tell. I've talked to him plenty of times. He loved his mother and you and his father. He loves almost everyone. I don't believe you. It's understandable. He chuckles. My brother is a trickster. I would know, because I've lived with him my entire childhood. With him, his tone darkness. I've watched him talk to, disrespect our parents, and hit my mother. Yet you, who's just met him, claims he is good. He fears you as the psycho one. I pause, unsure. The mean one. Why should I believe you? You shouldn't. But he can't forgive himself. He pulls out a lighter, removes the cigarette from his ear to light it, looks at me for a moment to ask, "Do you mind?" I nod. No. Although I most certainly mind. Puffs of smoke fill the room, lingering through the air like clouds. Forgive himself for what? Why should I believe you? You never finished a sentence. You've seen his violent tendencies, and you talk to him. I think you know I'm right deep down, but don't want to admit it because you care too much about him, because you've allowed yourself to become attached. What did he do that was so terrible? He blamed himself for our mother's death, but he says everyone blamed him. Nope. More smoke lingers. I cough. He blames himself. Why? I don't understand. Why would he blame himself if she got sick and she committed suicide? He licks his lips. I'm silent, unsure of what to say next. I blurt out, "Oh, I thought." He knows what happened to her. He knows what really happened, but the frown lines in his forehead crease. He's just erased it from his mind. He sits perplexed, thinking about something, but doesn't say it. He scratches his chin with a finger, avoiding my eye contact. Was I mad at him about it? At the time, of course. For him to say I did those things. His voice is a soft murmur. To him, it's fucking sick. He stands in disgust. He turns to me with eyes full of fire. I never hit that kid. No matter how many times I wanted to. Never. The bass in his voice hardens. I inch away from him, expecting an attack, a reaction, a swing. Instead, all he gives me is a hissy fit. He fucking lied to me. He pokes his chest repeatedly as if to prove his manhood. So many times that he even created the marks and the bruises. He licks his lips like his father, nodding with his eyes closed, breathing like a dragon. That that fucking lying piece of ugh. He bursts, letting water extinguish his flames. Look, he moans, wiping his dry tears. I know you want to believe him. I know you care, but he's a monster. I look into those sad puppy dog eyes of his, wondering how much of the truth he's actually telling me. Wondering if this is all an act. How can you say that? You only know what he tells you. He has you fooled just like everyone else. All his little friends, they're afraid of him. They know who he really is. Joseph is a monster and a murderer. He stands, and he'll never leave this place. Especially now that Spencer is here. I don't think he wishes to leave. Leon blows smoke in the air, laughing. Is that what he told you? I sit baffled, following the smoke as it pollutes my fresh-scented pine tree smell. Where did Spencer come from all of a sudden? And does Joseph know about him? Of course, Of course, Joe knows about him. He may not remember, but he knows. Spencer and I were very close back then. We would hang out all the time. He would even call me his brother. Joseph was jealous. He tried to kill him once, but he failed, so Spencer stopped coming around. He called Joseph a psychopath and said he didn't want anything to do with him. Ah, I see. I ponder a bit, drifting off into the shadows of my office. A dark shadow waves. Neil? I squint. Come here. I have to tell you something. She commands. What? What is it, Neil? I whisper. Neil, hello? Don't, John. What? Don't what? The fly. A hand warms my shoulder. I have to go, but we'll talk again later. We walk out of my messy office and glide down the dreadful hall, masked by photographs and dim lights. Snickering is heard, but no one is seen. Leon speeds ahead of me. Swiftly, the giggles increase, louder and louder, creeping into my mind like the faint, sweet laughter of a little girl. Sweat trickles down my skin and my heart skips a beat. Leon steps on the elevator. The walls close in around me. The hallway narrows as I begin running, yelling for him to wait, but the door shut. Wait! I can't believe he just let the doors close. How rude. I bang against the metal, screaming as if it'll open. No use. I'll just have to... Hey, John. A girl's tittering is heard. I turn to see Nihil standing beside me. My mouth is wide open. I try to speak, but my lips don't move. Neil? Neil! I wanted to say, what are you doing here? Oh my god, Neil, you're alive. Are you... Is this a dream? So many questions, but my mouth just wouldn't budge. She grabbed my hand, squeezing it tightly, with her eyes staring back at mine, big, bold, and gray. Cloudy, yet empty. She opens her mouth, and flies swarm from it as she shouts, clenching my hand so tight my bones crush. Neil, Neil, what's happening? Her face fades, burning into ashes. Neil! I wanted to say, but I couldn't. Why can't I speak? John, help! Help, John, do something! Do something, John! A black mist swallows her whole. No. No! Hey, John. Hey, you alright? Leon asks, a handshake with fear. I wipe the sweat beads from my forehead. I'm fine. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up.